Uh, Captain Greenbeard, come here. Hello, it's Captain Greenbeard, and I'm watching a preview on some kind of web TV type thing that's brand new and back in the year 2024. This is Captain Greenbeard's Cartoon Critic, and this is a great commercial, but I just gotta. Normally, I wouldn't skip anything of the cinematic, but we're cartoon critics, and that was all live action. For what you see is what you get, unless it is live action mixed with hybridized special effects. Oh, this is an underwater show that was made again in our century and was developed back to a balmier time of underwater 60s cartoons, this being the prime factor in that induction. And now, let's listen to this part because I missed it already, but listen in and see how their narrator is different than my criticism of these shots, which are coming in like radar gold. Like, this is radar gold, and I don't see why we can't get along with other races, with other classes. Genders and classes I can kind of see. Well, if I say gender, then I'd be lying, because I only respect of the womankind. But if I said gender, I wouldn't be lying, because I'm the lower gender. Trust me. Even this Herba Crabtree once told me, "You're a great kisser, hun, but you'll never be a star like me," because I actually talk to people that look at me differently, and they have a sudden fall-over experience with their whole exhaustion of just being near house superstardom. Oh, where was I? Cartoon Critic? You're losing it, man. You're losing. All your hearing is going out or something. No, I mean, check your ear monitor. I mean, your monitor. Yes, okay. That's better. Sorry, I just got into the story of the one time I ever dated anyone, and then I married her. And we burned down this giant church, and then we called it our marriage forever. That was how we knew we'd be married. Is we had this feeling that the Mormons wanted us to burn down everything in sight because they had not fulfilled the path that I had. And sometimes, oh, you there, Captain Greenbeard? I'm sorry, we're not really supposed to talk religion on this show. You know I was talking about it, or you were. Talk about our voices sound the same. Talking about the same thing. It could be, hey, there's a show on. We need to pay attention. If we're going to be good critics, we have to watch the movie and see what it's about and look into it with the mind eye of transcendent reality. If I could get through this role of cartoon critic, I don't know if this must be all the way to 11 or 12 on these shows. I'm keeping such track of it that you wouldn't even know I'm a stoner and don't know which episode came where. But I promise to include this in some kind of package to my post-doctoral campaign. I mean, that way they could at least have cartoons to watch, and I could take credit for them just by saying cheesy things over the top of them. And that's how you make a show like this, is you record a cartoon, get the rights to it, which might be kind of hard, and you'd have to beg YouTube at that point. But always remember that if the sound is on, and there's no ulterior motive soundtrack, which there... See that. See that. See that up in the house. See that. So see that, how you do the soundtrack to a cartoon, you just kind of put it in the mix while it's remastered or re-recorded. I know this looks about as bouncy as most of our internet footage around these places, but that's what I get for having so much milk this morning and coffee. Man, my coffee this morning is making this whole film shake. I better watch my coffee intake, dude. I mean, like, I know that hazelnut cream is what makes me love it so much, but, like, I think her nickname's Hazelnut Cream, by the way, but I shouldn't say such a thing because that's really horrible to say. And I could get picked up for, like, totally massacring all the people's hopes of a show that was not for kids anyway, but called cartoons. Because I've seen Fritz the Cat, and it's not for kids. Neither. Wizards, kind of. I mean, I guess kids could watch Wizards, kind of unharmed. But there's other cartoons, like Ninja Scroll, for instance. It's a pretty crappy movie in a way, but it's a pretty great movie in a way, too. So, you kind of ride the line on what used to be popular in cartoon history. And now you look back at the wild times of cartoon history in the 70s, all the way through the Animatrix, which I was just arguing about that sequence in the Animatrix where I don't know what I'm gonna do if I can't find someone to buy the Animatrix from me. I'll buy it, man, but I don't have 50 cents. Well, do you have any Japanese money? I don't think so. Right. Now, like we were saying, you can never really ask someone in that state for that thing. All right, next we see fish swimming by C-Lab. Of course we see fish swimming by O. C-Lab, how I must part with you never. How you have brought me to where the cartoon critic needs to be. I'm seeing this symmetrical line drawing and all of these stationary elements as compared to the cell animation that's moving. It's like a video game. Some things are moving and changing, and some things are staying the exact same. And that's how they saved on animation, which is expensive. It's like painting a painting repeatedly 24 times just for 1 second. It's like 6,000 paintings per 30 minutes of cartoon. And we're already dragging like the show sank a minute ago. Because we're like, well, minute 5 it was still interesting. We were like, this is cool. C-Lab. But the non-funny C-Lab kind of makes me feel totally like disillusioned. Because if these guys really aren't after some like comedic motive, then what's the point of a cartoon if there isn't a comedic motive? Like, these motives are not comedic, they're humorless. And now I feel humorless. Stockaded in my humorless way, with humorless guilt. Alright, well, this is Captain Greenbeard here, and those were my cousins, Yacht and Yet. And they came to help me today learn about cartoons, and now we're watching the movie trailer, it looks like. And we're going to leave it here because I could skip it, but we watched too many cartoons a minute ago. I was like, whoa, getting cartooned out. And I only saw like C-Lab for like 30 minutes, but they're so humorless, you know. This is at least a good commercial the way it's made, you know, the editing, the streak outs, the continued awning, the voyeurism, the sniper rifle. That was cool. I liked it. We should have kept that on, but man, I don't want to get into all that. That was the commercial. You should go see it. You should go see it. All right, everybody, hang on for a while. We're not going to laugh at anything. Jeez, man. Serious. I didn't know they took themselves seriously on the original C-Lab. Well, I can't say anything bad about a cartoon. They take too long to make, so it still gets 4 stars. But man, did they have to film it in Reno instead of the Biodome set? I don't get why the guy... It's one of those kind of movies. Okay, I'm just going to hang in there. It feels like I've been back from the Frying Dutchman for 6 months, and I'm out of weed again, and when I run out of weed, my inner child just kind of goes downward and looks down upon itself, and everyone gets angry with me when I run out of weed, and it just like, they persecute me for what they can get out of me. And then I realize I probably do like some form of like insignificant version of the other. I kind of like coax them to smoke a bowl with me. I'm like, hey, let's smoke a bowl. And I just like, put your money where your mouth is, bro, to myself. And then I get it paid off. And then I have my weed, you know. And I would be implementing someone else in it, but everybody knows they do it. There's like 3 people in the world that don't, and they're blamed, and they're like in charge of it. Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but what that looks like in reality on paper. But this is cool because now they're not moving on a background wall, and only the individual pictorial cells are moving in the frame. I can detect this. Most of this was scripted this way. Even the new Space Ghost was kind of improv, kind of scripted, you know. the live action one. We're not going to go to that one though for a while because we already had some glitchy issues on Dungeon Master, the 3rd generation. The last one was the 4th generation. With the 3rd generation, there's some mishap happened, and Mata Hoople couldn't play either, and I don't know. Back then we didn't have any copyrights, but Mata Hoople came on one of our movies, I swear. That whole album popped up somewhere along the road. All we do is film stuff and listen to it. But now you're listening to my commanding. I'm it. That's all. We're the nephews of Captain Greenbeard, and he's actually a long 3rd cousin of Dungeon Master, who knows Captain Greenbeard from the Flying Dutchman. And it's just such a lame intertextuality. Like, no one believes in a world like that where you actually judge things by the work of these kind of B low value comic book type things that just ditch it out as everybody's journey from youth to adulthood, and how they're gonna make it. And here I go telling you that cartoons aren't just for kids, man. This one's not even for kids, man. He's about to blow up the whole undersea. And they're gonna blow the Earth's oceans and see if they can live on dry land at last. It's the ending of Waterworld all over again. Oh my gosh. Okay, here goes. Flippers. Well, that was actually a good thing for him to drop a bomb in the sea. That's really healthy for the water. It never gets toxic after bombing it. I mean, some people have bombed the ocean and gotten paid back with a tidal wave, but these guys, since they're sea labbers, I think will be okay. Commercial. Everyone, I just wanted to remind you that there may be adult themes in this content of whatever it is. Captain Greenbeard, yes, I see this filming at this really small, wretched haunch of a focus puller, and these commercials do rock and roll, but I wonder how much we are supposed to be watching. We're actually forced to watch these cartoons like they were on Mystery Science Theater, but as I watch it, I want to know what Captain Greenbeard has to say from it, because he went to cartoon school and he has his master's in cartooning, let's just say. Probably better than that, but whatever. And now, I know, I host my own show. It's great, isn't it? There's number 5, room 5. If we go in this, sorry, fans of Captain Greenbeard, I had to step out for a moment. I was getting claustrophobic, and I guess my room is just barely than Nietzsche's were. Nietzsche's room was small. Kafka's room was small. My room is twice the size as both of them, and still the tiniest room in the planet. So if I could move to C-Lab, I'd pay full rent. But they won't have me unless I run a submarine again, which is a bad idea because there's no missiles in the one I have, and I always need a missile or a laser beam to chop down the chimney tree. And I'll go after it again if I have to, man. Oh, look at that sullen eyes. Oh, look. He is a worthy contender. Sleep, lab, underneath the water.
Accept your cooperation. Sorry, Dr. Williams, we can't afford the time. What we can't afford is pollution from this oil field. Easy, Ed. Look, young man, you've nothing to worry about. This oil field is foolproof against accidents.
Okay. I'm focused on the show. Should we start it over to see what it was about, or should we just go from here? I think the real idea is to just go from here. I didn't catch a single thing that this entire episode was about. They were being too serious and nobody fell on a banana peel. And that guy seems kind of like a jokester, but even then he hasn't made a joke the entire show. And to think, with 10 minutes left, we could have had the best cartoon clip of C-Lab. for all we know. But that it's all bootlegs again is because we like to draw from the picture from its source to get those real raunchy images in there that look like calculated lunchbox pearl. And as you know, calculated lunchbox pearl is about one of the most economic forms of decay of moral fiber of the universe, because it's like, first the universe is one thing and then it's the other. And then you're like, well, why couldn't it be the one thing and then it's the other? That's what I wrote in this book just now, and everybody agrees with me and nobody knows what it means. So here's the volcano stacked in its dreadful eruption. Did it erupt on itself? I think so. Did a philosopher fall in? I don't know. Is that how he'll be remembered? Maybe not, because no one's mentioning it. Is their skin some kind of beige, orange trickery? And is that mountain exploding and blowing up this whole town? Oh man, this is scarier than Apocalypse Now in parts. Look at that. Oh, it's Jaws. I mean, come on now. I say one thing, the other happens. Alright, look. The waves are flowing this way. Yes, I've seen every movie, but I've never seen any cartoons, so I became a cartoon critic, so I could watch cartoons and analyze them at the same time. You know, I really haven't analyzed the male anxiety that goes on in a show like this, and what makes it funny when they make fun of it. Because the male anxiety is always a funny thing to watch. I mean, trust me, I know a lot of people that would love to watch my male anxiety. If I start to feel inferior in front of anyone that isn't a male, then automatically it's taken note and laughed upon. Fortunately for me, I have a short story to tell. I don't go to y'all's hell. Nope, that's right. I went down the straight and narrow, got out of my life of sin, and now I don't do anything for a living but this. Cartoon critic. They're all thinking, oh, is it worth it? Can he actually run a show like this if he doesn't have anything but the show? And I say, if it's all I got, I'll run it the right way. But I think that was a bit of showing off to myself, because as interesting as I would carry out a ritual to see this whole show, I hope we're invited to see as such. But I do have to excavate along with... Oh, hang on! What's up, my friend?
I got a couple of medicines for you.
Okay, can I come to the hallway? Can I come to the office in
Yeah, come on.
10 minutes?
As soon as you can.
I will, as soon as I can. Right. They're not going to like that, but I have to wait to get... The property would have been damaged otherwise, and we'd have had to gone off the rake resetting that up. But it kind of gave me back to the presence of the dark side that lives among me in my home, that would be so pressed to give me that exact thing at that exact moment, and then spy on this when it's already in the film. But I didn't say that because I was frustrated that the door was knocked upon. How was he to know what I was doing in here if I didn't sound like the normal type? But this very film could be a figment of your imagination. You could be watching this going, this doesn't really exist, and Captain Greenbeard didn't really criticize it in a way that totally made you interested in watching it, and totally made you have a mild form of anxiety when the door was knocked upon, did it not? Now, it's like that who's on the phone thing at the Grand Guignol. Oh, I just got the 5-minute alert back there. And it looks like it may be more of a 3-minute alert, because we're looking at the timeline here, and it's not necessarily the ones that need to pick up those steel pipes and put them away would be called for in the situation. I think that instead that this kind of surreal falling oil can scheme has really got me bending in my imagination. I mean, I'm really feeling different about the rudimentary facts of animation and how it's all these paintings in one, how they come sometimes isolated and then keep the rest of it soft and like at the line where it stops and it doesn't move except the picture kind of does. It's a trick shot, all of them, I swear. It's great stuff, though. It gets you really into the animation. Very addictive. These films are hard to put down once you've seen one. I think what we're all glad about on the C-Lab set, which there's time to go and time to interchange our hellos and goodbyes, but if this shuts off before it's out, I'm taking the show down just for today, and then we'll be there next time in a week from now, so I might as well state my final statements on C-Lab, the original, not humorless version. It's so humorless that it dried up my complete ration of film intake this week has been fulfilled just by talking over the top of this, barely noticing it's on, not even making comments about the show. And it's still one of the great cartoon ideas that we've had. Because if you watch it too closely, then you see where the artist started dragging the movement to trick you into being hypnotized. And what were you saying, everyone? Who am I? Captain Greenbeard? Do I have a... Is there an album of mine somewhere? Should I reach for my own album? No, I can never use this to promote myself because that would be quite thievery on C-Lab's part, and they're probably gonna... Hopefully we can get the rights to this particular one because I like that it will play somehow on Facebook, even if it doesn't play on YouTube, and I guarantee we'll all be looking at something like this in like an hour or two, and it'll be the schemata of what you've seen the C-Lab accomplish. That every day, the C-Lab way will empower you to do justice upon the sinking ship that may be your own life. Really, my life's not a sinking ship. The ship sunk and now the ghost of it stayed up, you know? And that ain't foreshadowing into some shady future. But if you've got to give Captain Greenbeard trouble about how this denouement has kind of got an antagonist in the denouement. Wait, he might be a leader, never mind. I like these guys' haircuts. That's kind of like what mine looks like, except mine's not as cool. That guy has a cool haircut too. I like his haircut, whatever. I don't mean to make fun of it. I'm not making fun of it. Their hair looks great. They're shaved. It's good. These guys are cool. That guy's even happy. As like for a humorless show, he looks pretty chill. And they're laughing about some joke. I missed the whole joke. Should I rewind it? Oh, well, that's all for Cartoon Critic. We'll see you on part 10 or 11, depending on if this one is part 10 or 11. And I don't find that out for like another week and a half. So deal with the episode beguilement. We're going into another one. Splish splash, I'm taking a bath. Nope. We're watching the credits, and I gotta tell you this. I gotta see real quick, and then I'll go get my rudimentary relief for another day older. But here we go. And these guys, I mean, they must have been really working like 70 hours a week, most of them on shows like this. That were put in these credits, 70 hours a week just on the show. And they needed all these people to sign a contract to do all those episodes. Hanna-Barbera, okay, we'll talk to you later. Captain Critic will be on soon.